experience for me. And so, a very famous quote of Bette Midler from when she was asked, would she be seeing Lost Horizon when the movie was coming out? And she said, of course, I never miss a Liv Ullmann musical. True. I've been high twice in my life, and the second time was when I saw this movie. I was in graduate school, and we, a fabulous woman named Mary Lou Reining and I ducked out of class, and we spent the entire afternoon seeing Lost Horizon out of our gourds. And then the next day I had to go back because I thought I just made it all up. And in fact, it was trippier than I thought it was. Lost Horizon, as I'm sure many of you know, was first made in 1937 from a novel by James Hilton, whom I love. He wrote, well, I was going to say Goodbye Mr. Chips and Random Harvest, and he's, lovely and romantic, and lovely notions about the way the world could be, and those were embodied in the novel Lost Horizon, and the film in 1937 by Frank Capra was a huge, big production, very prestigious, and lots of Oscar attention, and it too had running time problems as this movie did when it came out. When I saw this movie with the legendary fertility dance, and then when I went back, Alonso said to me the other day, so you're going to be like one of those people in Fahrenheit 451 who walks in the forest and is like the keeper, the residue of that. So yes, I could do that dance for you. It was mostly men in diapers, milling around aimlessly. But anyway, this movie itself was again very expensive, hugely prestigious, or that was the intent. And it was cast with non-singing, non-dancing, non-ambulatory in some cases actors, and people lots of careers kind of paid the price for it. I mean, Liv Ullmann, an astonishing beauty and astonishing actress in Ingmar Bergman movies. In this movie is lost at sea, I guess would be maybe a kind way to put it. But I do want to say, because the gentleman had asked before, kind of what my stance is toward these movies. I read a book called Bad Movies We Love, and the accent is on the love. I mean, I find all of these movies very endearing. So I'm having a good laugh, but.
We're watching it for the 18th time.
Well, yeah, right, we're all watching it for the 18th time, probably. But the producer of the film, of course, was Ross Hunter, who I had another out-of-body experience because I spent time with him in his house, and his house was the decor of this movie. So he really walked it like he talked it.
My one sort of story on this. I interviewed Larry Kramer when I was at The Advocate, and it was when Women in Love came out, he won the Oscar for adapting the D.H. Lawrence novel. And I always have a tradition of like the last question, which is the one that I'm dying to know, but if they hang up on me, it's the last question, so it's okay. Exactly, yeah. So I got that. And I finally go, okay, I have to ask you about Lost Horizon. Not one of the shining moments of his career. He sort of looked upon the whole thing as sort of a not something he really enjoyed doing. But basically, Ross Hunter really wanted him. He was, he just won an Oscar. He was very hot at the time, and so he kept offering more and more money until Kramer finally had to say, "Okay, I'll do it." And apparently, it was rather heavily rewritten later, but couldn't get his name off the movie, whatever. But the interesting sequel to this story is that he made so much money writing this film for Ross Hunter that he turned it over to his brother, who was an investment banker, and basically was able to then live for the rest of the 70s and 80s off of this film, which then freed him up to become a playwright and to become a major gay activist. He created the Gay Men's Health Crisis at the dawn of the AIDS pandemic. He then created ACT UP, which was, the AIDS coalition to unleash power. So it gives me some level of pleasure to know that the legendarily closeted Ross Hunter can take some credit for the creation of ACT UP.
Just one of those things. Do people remember who Ross Hunter was? I mean, he's right. Yeah, I mean, he really loved films from the 30s and 40s, especially. Really, he reinvented the career of Garth Day, and he reinvented the career of Susan Hayward and Lana Turner. And you know, one of the great reasons was that he worked with one of my favorite directors, Douglas Sirk, just you know, brilliant stuff, Upward Down the Wind and Magnificent Obsession. So, and you know, just before this movie, he had done Airport, which was a hugely successful movie. So everybody was going to this with, you know, big, high expectations, and you know, soon the movie was cut, and it got really astonishingly bad reviews. But once again, I mean, it has a really huge and interesting fan base of people who want it on DVD and they want to see it again and again, and I can understand why.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting chapter in a lot of careers. I mean, it's Hunter's last film, it's this sort of odd digression for Larry Kramer.
Last feature.
Last feature film, forget it.
Yeah.
Right, and then, you know, it's the only original score written for film by BURT, BACHARACH, and Hal David. So it's just, yeah, it kind of occupies this one midpoint in a lot of people's trajectories. It's just this sort of strange little...
It's interesting, at least to me, that Ross Hunter told me that he didn't want BACHARACH to be that he just thought they were wrong for the tone that he was after. He wanted somebody, he wanted Michel Legrand, is what he told me, because he wanted a very big, kind of lush, romantic score, but the studio was saying that the musicals are old-fashioned, and you know, we're already going out on a limb with this, so give us somebody who could probably give us some pop hits. And you know, they were right, because the Fifth Dimension did Living Together, and there were a lot of Diana Ross actually covered songs, so did Marvin Gaye. Yeah.
I knew about the Fifth Dimension.
Did you know about the clothing line? I mean,